here the new ISDT P30 Smart Charger. We'll take a look at this. I've just got it a couple days ago. I don't really know a whole lot about it. There's not a whole lot of YouTube videos about it, so here I am making a YouTube video. Let's get it unboxed and see what it looks like. Take a look. User guide, some stickers, and here it is. It's heavy. It's actually really heavy. A lot heavier than I thought. That's it. There it is. Got your two 8S balance ports on each side. Screen protector, your XT60 outputs for channel 1 and channel 2. You've got a XT90 input and a USB charging port here if you ever wanted to charge something via USB. USB Type-C for any updating that you might want to do, which we'll get to here a little bit later. So some of the specs of this guy. Some of the specs. Input voltage 10 to 30 amps or 10 to 30 volts. It'll work. It'll charge up to 8S packs. It'll charge up to 60 amps when you combine both ports. It'll charge. Its discharging current for balancing is between I think it's right at 1.5 amps per port. And I'll explain about that when I get into it. It will charge out of both ports roughly 30 amps apiece, and it's kind of it's not a true 30 amps. And again, I'll get into that a little bit more. The discharging current is 0.2 amps to I believe it's 3 amps out of each port. However, that's limited by the battery voltage. Obviously, the higher the voltage of the battery, the slower it will discharge because of Ohm's law and how that works. So let's get into it. All right, so to power this, I've got a pair of HP server supplies that I have modified, and they will put out 24 volts. And a fair amount of wattage. I don't know the exact wattage off the top of my head, but definitely plenty to take care of this. Alright, we got it all mounted up here. Power supplies are on. Let's go ahead and power this thing on and see what it looks like. Alright, first glance looks like pretty much any other ISDT charger. Again, you got your different just like the Q8. It's got the touch sensitive things here. You press both. That brings you into your advanced menu. Let's go through the system settings. You've got your lowest input voltage. If you're charging off of a car battery or some sort of a battery bank, you can set this to your lowest voltage so you don't damage the battery. That's adjustable from 10 volts all the way up to 31. I always charge off of power supplies, so I'm not really too concerned about the voltage. Max input power, for whatever reason, they give you the 50 watt difference. Don't really know why, but I always set mine to the highest. BATGO, it has information on the BATGO stuff. I don't fly anything with that has the BATGO technology, so I can't really elaborate on that a whole lot, but from what I hear, it's pretty neat. So back from the BATGO, we go into your backlighting. Again, that's high, middle, low, or auto. That's for however you want the backlight. Set mine to high. Volume is just what it says. Completion tone, you can set it to where it gives you the one completion tone, or if it just repeats. Me, I'll lose track of what's going on, so I just leave it to repeat, and it happily annoys everybody around me because my charger just keeps on beeping. The touch slide, that's this here that I was telling you about. You can turn that on or off, so it doesn't do anything. Come back here, turn it back on. And you can touch and slide, and this works on either side, so good for righties or lefties. So split screen, what this is when you're looking at both channel 1 and channel 2, if you go to one channel, after 30 seconds it'll go back to 2. You can set that to 60 seconds or you can turn it off. 30 seconds is what it comes to stock. That's perfectly fine for me. The wireless, that was my main reason for getting this charger. I wanted to know more about this. So I'm going to go into my app store. I've got an old phone here. See how this does. Go in here, and I'm going to search for ISDT, or ISD Go. And there it is. I'll go ahead and download that. There it goes. I'm going to go ahead and open that. Oh, it tells you about the new chargers, the P10, the P30. That's kind of neat. All right. So at this point, you're going to hit the plus sign. And then you're going to enter it here. Now it's going to search, and it's going to pair them. Scanning. It's found my charger. Add this device, please. Now it's connecting. Binding successful. All right. It adds it to the page. And here you go. So now everything is accessible from the app here. You go here and it's the same screen here. You swipe to the right, you're looking at just channel 1. So that's the same as hitting that. And then same going the other way. So pretty neat. All right. So after that, you've got the English, the languages you want. You got English and all kinds of other stuff. You've got different themes. This is new to the Q8 and this one, I know, and I believe there's a couple of the other ones that have the dark mode now too. So let's select dark and let's see what ooh, that's pretty. Keep trickle. What this does is after you're done charging, after your battery's landed or ended its charge cycle, it'll keep trickle charging to keep the battery at the requested voltage. And for me, it's 4.21 volts per cell, but you can turn that on and off. Self-test, go in here, it'll just go through and test everything. It is what it says it is. It's a self-test. But one real important thing to mention here, make sure you disconnect all of your batteries. Don't have anything connected to it. Self-test is passed. We can come back. Volume. Oops, sorry. We can come back here. Self-test is good. You can calibrate everything on channel 1, channel 2, where if you had like a specific voltage that is accurate, you can go here and adjust the voltage so that the known voltage that and the voltage here is the same. System info, that's just telling you the hardware, the part number, the operating system. I don't know exactly off the top of my head what BL stands for, but that's where you find all your information on the system. So I think it's time we get some batteries hooked up and see how this thing does. So I'll be right back. All right, so I do things a little bit differently than most. I don't use XT60s like I was telling you before, so I made these XT60 to female banana plug jacks so that I can use the existing charge leads that I've been using with all my other chargers for years. So got a couple of long charge leads here that have my my EC5 and my D6 jumpers on them, so I can charge one or the other. Most everything I have now is all D6 or an S6 plug. So get these all plugged in. Bring one of my trusty 12S sticks over here. Pull my caps off. The other thing that I heard a lot of people, or I've seen a lot of complaints about, is that the balance port is here and the charge port is here. While not awesome, that doesn't really affect you if you get yourself a pair of 12-inch long balance extensions. They're like $8, maybe $10, something like that. And trust me, you'll get them and you'll be really happy that you did. So I'll get those plugged in here. And I should make sure you note that the direction here, because everything is backwards. So this one's positive is on the top and negative is at the top or at the front, and here is just the opposite. So make note of that. I actually had that not bite me in the butt, but catch me off guard. So go ahead and get these plugged in. Now we can start a task, or we can start a charge cycle. So we can go press and hold here, just like you do with the other stuff. Your different tasks: charge, discharge, storage, or destroy. Have not used the destroy features on any of my ISDT chargers yet, but I know it works pretty well because I've had a couple of friends that have used it. So, but for today, we're charging a LiPo that automatically detects the cell count as 6 cells. I'm going to set the current to 10 amps. The core voltage, what they mean by core voltage is the cell voltage, what you want each individual cell. 4.2 is common. Like I said earlier, I charge all my stuff to 4.21. That way when the battery is done charging and it rests back down to 4.2 to 4.19. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit start. That one's away. Going to come over here and all the same stuff. Start. And it's off and running. So there we go. Now they're both off and running. There absolutely is an easier way to do this versus going to each individual thing. You press and hold both. You got dual task, paralleled task, DC power channel 1. Then we go back into the system settings. For this, I'm going to show you what dual task is. So if you've got two batteries that are exactly the same, like I have here with my 12S battery, I can go over here into dual task, and I only have to set this up once, and I hit start. It launches both channels at the same time. It's a pretty great little feature. It's a lot less button pushing and things of that nature to activate, or to start charging both these batteries if they're the exact same battery with the exact same settings. So it's fantastic in that right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and let's before we get into the parallel task, let's take a look at the app and how that works. From the home menu, when you first open this app and select your charger, you're automatically see both channels. Like I said, you can swipe between channels, but if you hit the little start button down here at the bottom, and you can set your task, battery type, voltage. Okay, I want my voltage to be 421. Battery current. Let's go ahead and set this up to 10 amps. Okay, it automatically detected 6 cells. I can go ahead and hit start, and it starts it just that fast. Granted, the phone's right next to it, but that's pretty dang amazing that it starts it that fast. Another great thing too, when you're with the app, when you swipe, it gives you a little fuel gauge. You can kind of see that there. Gives you your battery IRs as well. Then you go to the other side, and it gives you the same thing. So pretty great. To stop it, you just hit stop, and it stops it just as fast as it starts it. Now, if you want to start each individual channel like I did earlier, you just swipe to the channel, you hit start. It's got charge, LiPo 4.21, 10 amps, 6S, you hit start, and it starts it. Go over here, and you start it, and there it goes. And you can stop it just the same. So that's the app. Now, the one thing that the app does not do that I wish it did, ISDT, if you're listening, this would be a fantastic update to the app. I would love a push notification when the charge is done. Not just both channels, but each individual channel, say channel 1 done, just a push notification that comes through, letting you know that. That'd be a fantastic update to this app. But other than that, I love the app. I use it a lot. So next up, I will make a few reconfigurations here, and let's talk about the parallel task. So stand by for that. All right, so the way the parallel task works, you come out of, or you take and you connect both channels 1 and 2 together. To do that, I've got a parallel wire harness adapter here that I've used with other chargers that do this. And we just plug this all in. And the one thing that I want to mention here is you only come out of balance port 1. You don't parallel the balance ports together, just port 1. And because I've got that here. All right, so now I've got that. And then I have here a Revolectrix parallel board. Does 1 to 8S, up to 6 batteries at a time, and it's got an EC5 connector on it, so I can make that connection here. Now, parallel charging is not something I do at all anymore, just because I don't like what it does, or I don't like what it has the potential of doing to my batteries. You know, you spend all this money on batteries, and the last thing you want to do is do something that could damage them. You know, some people will say don't fly them then, but you know, that's not going to happen. So get in here, get all these plugged in. And one thing I've always done when I parallel charge is I always will get them all hooked up, and then I'll let these batteries sit here for a little while and let them all even out. Four packs that are all at a low state of charge, and show you how this works. So if we come down here, again, press and hold these two, we come down to parallel task, hit this. We're going to talk about everything we got. We got charge. The task is charge. It's a LiPo battery. It's 6 cells, 40 amps. I should say my board is only rated for 40 amps. If I go anything above it, it will pop all the fuses that I have in here. So, moving on. Core voltage is again 4.21 and 40 amps. I'm perfectly comfortable doing that. That is a 2C charge rate for what I have hooked up here, because essentially I've got 4 6S 5000 batteries plugged in, and 2C on a 6S 5000 or on any 5000 milliamp pack is 10 amps. So 10, 20, 30, 40. Go in here, parallel task. All the settings are correct, and we're going to hit start. You can see overall the fuel gauge up here is at 35%. The lapse time, and we're off and charging. But that's parallel task, super easy. I'm going to come back in here, parallel task. I want to go into here. Well, you cannot, I should note, you cannot, in parallel task, you cannot go to storage. so you can only charge or discharge. And discharging, like I was saying before, discharging is quite low. You know, you can only charge, you know, 1/4 of an amp to 3 amps per channel, and that is purely dependent on the voltage of your battery. 3 amps, if you had like a little 2 or 3S battery, you might be able to discharge that at 3 amps. My 6S packs, I've only ever been able to discharge at about 1.5 to 1.9 amps, so it takes quite a long time to discharge a battery with this charger. That's actually with any ISDT. The T8 that I had, again, fantastic chargers. I built a case around them. It was a great charger, but it didn't have cell IR, so I moved on. And when I saw the Q8s, when I saw the Q8 come out and it did give me an IR reading and it was $40 a charger less, I snatched up a pair of those and put those in my current case. And I loved them so much that when I saw the P30, I got that. And now I'm seeing the P10 and the P20. I'm very curious about. I'm very curious about those. The P20 really has my attention. I'd almost like to build a case around 2 P20 chargers once that thing comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this charge here. And my batteries are resting at 3.83, 3.8 something, 3.82. That's good enough for me for storage. So that's kind of the P30 in a nutshell. Should note that you cannot do a parallel task from the home menu. So that's that. The one other thing I wanted to show you is also in the advanced menu, and you can use channel 1 as a DC power supply to power things should you deem it necessary. Let me go ahead and get all this disconnected. The connector got a little warm on 40 amps. Bring back my trusty leads here. Sorry, it's getting a little noisy. So I've got here a 24 volt blower fan. So let's power this up. And because I don't have a wire, I'm just going to jam these in here, which it's worked. I've done it before. So you come in here to your advanced menu, and you come down here into DC power channel 1, turn that on, and you can go here. You know, like here I can set the voltage down to 10 volts, current of 5 amps, which I don't need, but you turn it on. As long as I'm connected up here, there it goes. I can go back here and change the voltage. And it speeds up. And then you can turn it on or off. That's it. So that's kind of a nice, that's kind of a nice feature. Matter of fact, I used it yesterday when I was getting stuff. I was doing a big discharging experiment, and I had a lot of batteries discharging at once. It was about 100 degrees out here in my garage, and my 308 Duo was reading out to me that it was at like 160 degrees or something like that, and during its discharge cycle, so it was pretty warm. The one thing that I do wish these would do, and I don't know if it's something that I'm not an electronics guy. I don't know if there'd be a hardware change or if it's just a programming change, but I'd love to be able to, take channel 1 and discharge it into channel 2 using something like a resistor load bank or something like that, which I can do that with my iCharger 308, but I don't do it that often, and it's not a big deal. However, if it is a simple firmware thing, it would be quite great if a feature like that could be added to any of the dual port chargers like the P10, the P20, and the P30. Having the ability to discharge into something will speed up your discharging greatly. I've built a couple of different discharge units, just load banks with resistors, and they're fantastic. So I'm going to give you guys an idea of how long it takes to do an update via Bluetooth to the P30. It does take some time, so we'll get into it. You open up the app, you select the charger, it's going to connect to it, and immediately it's going to pop up and say, there's an update available. Go ahead and hit that update, and it gives you a warning to make sure that you keep the phone close to the charger and there's no batteries attached to it, which I have no batteries attached. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to hit start, and the firmware update is on its way. All right, here we are 9.5 minutes into it. We're at 80% of the firmware update. So like I said, it does take some time to do this over Bluetooth with a phone. Going through the computer, it's almost instant. It takes no time at all. So this works just fine, and it'll work if you're out of the field. But if you're at home or you're near a computer, this is not a big deal. It takes no time at all. All right, coming up on the end here, 11.5 minutes at 98%. Update is completed. Took 11 minutes, 38 seconds. Almost 11 minutes and 39 seconds. But this is still updating because it updates one and then it slaves over to the other. And so really, it's still going. And there it is. Now we'll call it probably 11 minutes 50 seconds roughly in here before the charger was actually updated and ready for use again. So like I said, if you can update it through the USB port in the back, it's way faster. It takes like 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. Over Bluetooth works fine if you're not in a hurry or anything like that, but it does take some time. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning for a little while, and if you want to see more reviews on different chargers, leave a comment below, smash the like button, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you later. Thanks.